Hello, I'm Steve Porter, and we're here to talk about Disney movies that we wish had a bigger presence in the Disney parks. So back in the Nook is Ryno Clavin.
Hello.
And next to me is Craig Williams.
Hello.
All right, so we're going to get right into it. First, we're going to do movies that already kind of have a little bit of a touch in the parks, and then
we're talking about stuff that we wanted, but it might necessarily be in it could be in Shanghai or Tokyo, and we want it more represented at Walt Disney World.
Yeah. Or might have like a little meet and greet somewhere, or just
you just want more from it.
Yeah, exactly. We want to get more out of it. So, all right. So my choice for that is Mary Poppins. Obviously Mary Poppins is a classic ride, and it is also with some
classic ride
or classic movie. Excuse me.
Like, what park are you going to, friend?
Sorry, but there was a classic ride designed by Tony Baxter, an Imagineer for Disney, that was never made. That was called Mary Poppins Jolly Holiday, kind of like the bakery in Disneyland. But it was like you got on the carousel, and then it like took off and brought you through the scenes of the movie. So
I think they should go revisit that and make it.
Yeah.
Well, he did his pitch for this, I believe, before he was an Imagineer. This was kind of one of the things that he did to try to get into Imagineering, and clearly he had his chops already proven with that. But I wish it would have actually came to Walt Disney World.
It'd be awesome It'd be awesome in the UK pavilion.
Well, I see, and that's maybe my hope is if they're gonna do the overhaul for Epcot and do what Frozen in Norway, and then the Three Caballeros in Mexico, and they start adding more of these characters in the other countries, that maybe they'll get something over there. However, I feel like if they can add the Little Mermaid in when they did New Fantasyland, and that movie was what? 15 years old when they did that, or longer than that, I guess.
The tough part about that is, that came as part of the whole reimagining of Fantasyland with New Fantasyland. Whereas when Mary Poppins was supposed to, potentially come into that place and they wanted to work on it, this was way earlier in the whole realm of Fantasyland, where it would have fit into more of like the circus style, or not circus style, but
I know what you're saying,
medieval tents and all that stuff. So
the carousel.
Now that they're now that Disney is finally jumping into the immersion game, it would be a little bit more difficult to get Mary Poppins in there. They could still find a way to pull it off, though. They should, with Mary Poppins never losing relevance, and will be actually way more relevant in a short amount of time when the sequel comes out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Once the movie comes out, it'd be like a perfect,
I feel like it belongs at Walt Disney World, since they used the money from the movie to put the down payment on the land. So I feel like we need to give Mary her dues.
Yeah, it would be a perfect tribute to to the movie and to Walt Disney World in general. So that is my number one, I guess they're not really ordering them. I guess we're just kind of talking about it. But Ryno, what's yours?
I am Tron. Not I am Tron. Tron is mine. Sorry. I know they have the coaster in Shanghai, and it's very well received over there. But I would like to see perhaps that added to Fantasyland. I briefly talked about this before. Not Fantasyland. I'm sorry, Tomorrowland. Yeah. Where the you had brought up a great space for that would be the
Tomorrowland Speedway.
Yeah, and I think it would fit the aesthetic. It would look really cool if it's just kind of like, if they had the recognizer out there and you moved through that 8-bit into the grid, and they could even transform that to be the ride, and maybe you're in the different vehicles, like your light cycles, and you're going around the park or something, and the beam is lit up at, I don't know how it works during the day, but I would just like to see some sort of Tron presence, because it's clear that now they're talking about developing a third Tron movie, and so it's kind of like it's got a history with the company. It was the first movie to ever use computer-generated effects, isn't it? Isn't that true? Maybe I'm making that up.
So
it's the first movie to do something along those lines. But I think it would be great. I love the soundtrack. I think it would have a cool atmosphere, and give me some of that merch.
Very cool. Yes. I don't know what to add to that, but I totally agree.
Thanks.
Cool. Yeah. Well, mine would be that I want to see here that does have a presence somewhere else would be Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Of course, you have Haunted Mansion Holiday out in Disneyland. And it takes over the Haunted Mansion from September through early January. But it's, it just becomes more and more popular every single year, especially for people in our age range that might have saw it when they were growing up and are now finally rediscovering it, seeing it with fresh eyes, passing it along. For some reason, kids that weren't even born while it was coming out are making fashion statements out of it. And buying every single piece of merchandise with it, which, I get, because I guess I also enjoy movies that were out before I was born. But it's The Nightmare Before Christmas is a great story. We could see just from Disneyland how it can be so well done as a dark ride style attraction.
Oh, yeah.
A moving Omnimover style ride. And it's just a shame that we can't have something out here for it.
Well, essentially the overlay out there is an entirely new attraction. When they say it's an overlay to the Haunted Mansion, you have to go through the same ride because it's part of it. But I was blown away by how it's its own thing. Yeah. So I think it should be a standing.
Yeah. So actually, I do have a question off of that. Are you saying that it should be how they do it out in Disneyland, or a completely new attraction?
Oh, it needs to be a completely new attraction.
It needs to always be here.
Yeah, it should be a year-round attraction. Our Haunted Mansion, I don't believe it would have the same effect as it does in Disneyland, let alone with the crowds that come here. I feel like Disneyland, because it's locals that are the driving factor of the park, they're also very accepting of the fact that Haunted Mansion goes down for that short period to have that turnover, where Walt Disney World, since you have so many people planning these once-in-a-lifetime trips, if something's closed like that because of it, or it's not the one that they were hoping to see when they got here, they'd throw a fit about it.
Yeah,
so
good point.
Where do you think they'd put something like that?
That is, that's a good question. What I would love to see, not going to happen, but take it as a broader theme and make it a whole Halloween town in Hollywood Studios, since they are we're going for an immersion park based on movies. We're going to have Pixar Land. We're going to have Star Wars, maybe Halloween Town.
Well, on that note, I would love to see, since immersion is the name of the game, perhaps more attractions. Maybe things don't have to be 3 attractions for one land to be like, okay, now there's that immersive land. Just make that one little area. Make Halloween Town its own little strip. You got your store. Maybe there's a quick service restaurant, or maybe that's just it, and there's another character meet and greet or something.
You get some shop. You have one marquee attraction. You get some shops.
Yeah.
You get a dining area too, a little bit of entertainment. Obviously, a meet and greet would be perfect with a little show that could pop up. And if you are starting to catch my drift, I'm talking about something very similar to Diagon Alley, that essentially is a whole land based around one attraction.
He's a witch.
Well, I can imagine. The Jack Skellington meet and greet for any of the Halloween parties is always the entire. Sometimes it's people wait in it for the entire party.
Yeah.
Because he's so popular. So I can imagine that
it just works at any time of the year too. You know what I mean? It can be Halloween Town the whole year, and then make it Christmas for after Halloween.
Cool.
And at Hollywood Studios, it would bring that spooky, almost villainous presence that people are always clamoring for to have in Disney parks. With what better villain is there than Oogie Boogie?
I know.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's fun to say.
Okay, so I'm going to move on to the one of the attractions, or movies, excuse me, I keep saying attractions, that we wish would have a presence that has no presence in the theme parks. So I'm going with WALL-E. I know he temporarily was a little, robotic WALL-E was in the parks, but I haven't seen him in a while. So
that was part of the Disney Imagineering, their living creatures. So they made Lucky the Dinosaur before, and now you can see the Muppet Mobile Lab at Epcot, and WALL-E was another part of that initiative.
But we haven't seen him in a while, so I'm not counting it. And I'm gonna say I wish the ride for WALL-E was where Stitch's Great Escape is now, because they're kind of that is gradually going away into being a seasonal attraction, and then that's usually the beginning of the end. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what the design would be. Maybe you're in the spaceship that they go on, and I don't know.
Yeah. I guess we should say first too, because I'm sure there's going to be 100 comments on it. Yes, we know that everyone is rumoring Wreck-It Ralph, a VR attraction to come in the space where Stitch's Great Escape is. Understand that, but I agree with you. Wall-E would be a much better fit for this area.
It fits the theme better.
Fits the theme.
It just plain makes more sense.
I mean, it's the future. They're on a spaceship. There's a spaceship there. There, you know what I mean? The launch pad area. Like, wait, is there a spaceship there? Or am I thinking of Disneyland? There's a spaceship there.
Yeah, it's Disneyland. But
we have to
still.
launch the rockets or whatever. Yeah, I'm getting frustrated now. Sorry.
But anyways, I think it would be a great addition. I also think if it was that spaceship-themed attraction, it would give tribute. I love Disney history, and it would give tribute to like Mission to Mars, where that attraction was in that location. So overall, I just think it would be a good fit here.
Exactly. You know, I have barely memories of Mission to Mars being in there. Like, I remember the style, the screen on the bottom and then on top. Like, it would be cool to have that kind of style with Wall-E and, you know, bringing back the screens, getting rid of the animatronic in the middle and being able to see Wall-E above and below you, Eve flying around.
Maybe make it 3D.
Yeah, and
Get out of here.
Try to bring it around the entire room too, so you could see everything happening all around you.
Yeah,
Like,
Well, the stuff they can do with projection mapping now too, I can just imagine that they can do some, not a simulator per se. I mean, I guess technically it would be a simulator, but not like in the traditional sense where maybe they add a little bit. That theater has, you know, those built-in effects to make you feel stuff. I don't know.
No,
it sounds better than Wreck-It Ralph to me. I don't like virtual reality stuff.
Well, and I just don't know how. I mean, I feel like video games to Tomorrowland is like a little bit more of a stretch than like Wall-E is about the future.
Yeah.
So
and it fits in that theme of like trying to be positive toward the future. You know what I mean? That hope.
And that goes back to like Walt Disney is like his original like the idea for Tomorrowland was about like the hope and promise of the future, and Disneyland in general is about that. So I don't know. I don't. I just feel like Wall-E would be a good fit. But
I agree.
Mine is Zootopia. Now I know you can already do. There's a meet and greet that's pretty steady. I think it happens every day in Disneyland. I don't know if they've added it here yet, but for the DVC member party, Nick and Judy came out and people went crazy for it. And then they had a section of the fireworks that was Zootopia. And I mean, the response for that is insane. I mean, it made, so much money, over $1 billion. Like, come on, where's the theme? And I don't even need an attraction or anything like that. I'm tired of this whole, like, it's got to be this huge thing or nothing. It's all or nothing. Like, how about take the Pizzafari restaurant and turn it into something else and turn it into, like, a Zootopia restaurant where you can go and get, like, popsicles and, like, that sort of theming. And maybe just, like, you've got a couple animatronics in there that are just, hanging out, or I don't know. It would work great for me in Animal Kingdom, just a little theme strip.
I'll take it a step further and say that I feel like in Animal Kingdom it'd be cool if it had its own, like we said, another like land and be Zootopia, like the land.
Well, I see. I want anything because Disneyland has proven time and time again. Because we already talked about A Nightmare Before Christmas, but they just overlaid the Red Rose Tavern, Pinocchio's Village to be the Red Rose Tavern. So it went from Pinocchio theme to a Beauty and the Beast theme. And honestly, I had never gone in when it was Pinocchio's Village. I wouldn't have never known it was Pinocchio's Village. And it was such a simple thing that they've done. And they just took their menu items and they themed them to, into this. And I don't know. They clearly have a really good quick turnover rate when it comes to like being able to temporarily create something, then seeing whether it has a demand, whether it doesn't have a demand. I'd like to see some of that initiative brought to Disney World, and I think that we could start with Zootopia at Animal Kingdom.
Very cool.
You ready to be blown away by mine?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay.
Oh, wait. We were planning all these, and Craig would not tell us what this next one is. So
because it's going to be ridiculous. So what is the greatest part of The Mummy over at Universal?
The fire effect at the end?
No.
Oh.
The finale.
Brendan
Fraser pops up on screen. No, I'm not talking bringing a George of the Jungle attraction, but I'm saying how could we take a Disney movie that has an absurd but quotable and popular character and put them into that? And I am talking... Let's take the most absurd actor of all time, Nicolas Cage.
Oh, dear God.
And make a national treasure attraction
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
on the style
Yeah.
of Indiana Jones Adventure,
Yeah.
using the Jeeps and the moving motion simulator type vehicle, but doing it based around National Treasure.
Well, what's great about that is it could last if it's its own unique original storyline, the same way Indiana Jones is it could potentially become timeless.
And this is where I'm going to get even more sacrilege with this. Put the entrance to it in Liberty Square.
Oh, dear
No,
God.
no, that's perfect.
So that way
So
you can get further. Obviously it would have to be built further back. You can't place an attraction that big right in that area. But go around, and this is where you're going to have to get some screens involved, because it can't be like Indiana Jones Adventure with like terrible indie animatronics. It needs to be like moments where you pop up and
You're afraid for your Nicolas Cage life.
Nick Cage is right next to you, like, we gotta find the Declaration of Independence, and like just
There's a
getting
map.
full on crazy throughout it. So those are actually very fun movies, as stupid as they are, and just full of plot holes and
No, but they're guilty
ridiculousness.
pleasures. They were part of that whole. And who doesn't love a treasure map movie? Especially when it, and that was the thing at the time, the Da Vinci Code, when it's, treasures hidden in plain sight that have been here all along.
Yeah.
Everybody loves that. I forget what the second one was about.
The second one was they wanted to find the all of the hidden treasure that was.
But where did they look for that? It was in the desk, right? Was that the one where they go to the desk?
Yeah, they had to go into they had to break into the Oval Office to go into the desk, and there was a hidden compartment, and they wanted to clear Ben Gates's grandfather's name or something. The plot's never really connected on that, but they were really entertaining movies despite not being that good, and I think they could translate into a really fun attraction.
I'm okay. I'm going to be real for a second here. Now that you've described this,
I actually really want it. Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that there is not, the whole thing right now at Disney is adding these little experiences that you can do along the way. So let's say it's not an attraction, but I'm surprised there isn't like the Sorcerer's Kingdom, whatever that card game is. I'm surprised there isn't a scavenger hunt through Liberty Square that is themed around National Treasure now.
Because I'm busy working here and not for Imagineering, creating these stories.
So I brought up an aerial view of the Magic Kingdom, because I was
This
like,
is how serious
where
Steve's
could
getting.
this fit in? And maybe they'd have to create a little path that went on the outside of the Haunted Mansion to put it above basically the land where Small World is.
Like where the bathrooms are for Tangled?
Nope. I mean, kind of behind the Haunted Mansion. They could even, you know the old keel boats that went on Rivers of America?
No, but you point them out to me. Before.
Yeah, it's the little dock that's near the Haunted Mansion. Maybe you have to get on a boat.
No, maybe you have to enter somewhere down there. So it's like a hidden entrance to an attraction.
Right, you have to get on the boat, and the boat brings you to the little area where.
Why aren't we smarter? Why aren't we like Imagineers?
That'd be cool. So yeah, the boat could just bring you some place back in the back of behind Tom Sawyer's Island. Come on, that'd be sweet.
This is obviously one of the things that will.
I like how
almost
the most
110%
well thought out
never
one that we
happen.
have.
Yeah. Is the one that
Treasure.
will never happen.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
But brilliant. I love it. Okay, so that'll do it for the attractions or Disney movies that we wish had a bigger presence in the Disney parks. That'll do it for this episode or this mini-sode. Like if you like the video, comment below, tell us what movies you wish were in the parks. Thanks for watching.